professional narcissists, it's not something that we really talk about. We tend to talk about interpersonal relationships, and as they cause such a lot of emotional damage, but professional narcissists can equally cause a lot of damage, and I've had my own personal experience with one recently, which has prompted me to want to make this video. So in this video we're going to look at how to spot them, what their typical behaviours are, and particular professions that they choose for you to keep an eye on. So I can't go into detail on my personal story, just because we're not sure if we're going to do anything about it. But suffice to say that if I hadn't have spotted early on, and that's not me blowing my own trumpet, it's purely the nature of the work that I do. I'm always on high alert for these behaviours anyway, but because I do this and obviously have experienced it, I was a little bit more switched on as to what was happening. And if I hadn't have been, my family could easily have been taken in by the lies, the gaslighting, and it was shocking. In the particular profession it was a medical profession, that's all I'm going to say. And it was particularly shocking for my mum, who's always been a nurse, and she believes in that, and I believe in the NHS, absolutely. And so it came as quite a shock that a professional would behave in such a way. But obviously, like I said, through the work that I do, I realised pretty soon what the characteristics were, and so that's where this video has come from. Now, there's particular professions that they choose. Medical profession, one, because they can be God, and they're God in a lot of people's eyes. People can be really grateful. They see people in their hour of need, and they can come in and be the hero, which we know is one of the characters that they are so desperate to play. And so it's easy to see why they'd be attracted to roles within the medical profession, because it's naturally designed for them. Now, not all people within the medical profession who have power are narcissistic. It is possible to have those traits without being narcissistic, but it is something within particular higher echelons that it can be quite. And we know in the UK we have Beverly Allett here, famous narcissist, who obviously hurt a lot of babies because she wanted to be the rescuer. She wanted to come in at the last minute, be the one that magically gave them the remedy to save their lives, and so many parents were grateful for such a long period of time. But obviously she got cocky and did it too many times. Harold Shipman, another famous one in the UK, who took people's money essentially for his own need. We've got a new case at the moment which is going on around a lady doctor who they're investigating. Obviously I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know the full ins and outs, but there's elements. So, and this can be quite shocking, but there are other professions as well. Religious is particularly one. Narcissists loves to use religion. They love to be higher, mighty and holier than thou. And so religion fits perfectly. They get to tell everyone how to live, and yet don't live by those standards themselves. They are revered by so many people, and you find that a lot of paedophiles exist. And that's not a comment about religion as a issue. If anyone has belief, I'm not bashing religion. I'm just saying that the hierarchical nature of religious circles is kind of prime for narcissists and paedophile narcissists as well, because again, people trust them, people go to them, people open up to them, and so they can act holier than thou. They can act like the hero in all of these cases and lure people in, lure vulnerable people in, find out dark secrets about them, and then use them to their own advantage. So another one is any sort of psychology, psychologists, counselling, those sort of professions where people go to them in need, people go to them looking for help and assistance. These are areas that narcissists like. One, because it's like they're showing off their prowess, that they're so clever, they are cleverer than you, they are so that one-upmanship, but equally they get to find out a lot of vulnerable information about people, and then they can use it to their advantage. I also do a lot of work around parental alienation. I think that some narcissistic qualities appear within people within those professions. They may not be classically NPD in terms of meeting all the diagnostic criteria, but they certainly display traits whereby they won't listen to any other arguments. They're only interested in what they believe is true. They don't want to admit any error, and they can make massive decisions about people's lives without any consideration for how it might impact, particularly in the case, the child or the parent. And so those sort of professions can be really hard. And I guess I don't like I say, I don't want to put down all these professions. There's a lot of amazing people that work within them, and a lot of people that are perfectly healthy. And so don't be put off by it. I'm doing this as a educational, just to make you aware that there's not always going to be romantic narcissists that come in your life. There will be times when you meet them in other arenas and you might not always spot them. So how to spot them? Well, from my point of view, it's when they're challenged. This is exactly what's come up from my own personal situation and those that I've heard other people share with me, is as soon as they are challenged on anything, the way they react reveals their narcissism. They can be nice as pie, they can be seen to be doing everything, be very helpful, but if you challenge them on something and they have made a mistake, or even if maybe they haven't, but particularly if they have made a mistake, their overreaction, their projection, their complete lack of ability to take any responsibility for their actions, those are the behaviours of narcissists. They will react with anger, they will hurt, they will not consider how their behaviours are impacting the person that it's projected at, but equally anyone else around them. And so if you're working with someone, and it might be that they what they tend to do as well is they'll pick certain people out within the environment. So if it's an office environment or a ward environment or a team environment in any way, shape or form, they might hone in on someone, and that person might be like their golden child. They're their ally, and they'll be very complimentary about this person. They'll say lots of nice things about them, and they'll take them under their wing, and they'll give them lots and lots of praise because they want them to be on their side. They've recruited them, essentially. But to everyone else, they can be quite short, and they certainly will be at the heart of any problems that are going on. Now, maybe not the public face of that problem because they've recruited their ally, but they'll be behind the scenes pulling the strings. And so maybe you're the person who's been targeted. Maybe you're the person who's been targeted as the golden person, the person who can do no wrong, in which case you want to be looking out for them being overly friendly, inserting themselves into your life, always paying you compliments, favouritising you, is that a word? But that's what they'll be doing. They'll be picking you out as their favourite. And professionals shouldn't do that. Professionals don't do that. They might have friends, but on a professional level, you don't show that. You treat everyone equally. But narcissists will have done this because they'll have chosen someone because they want to recruit them. So maybe you've been recruited equally. You might be on the receiving end. You might be one of the scapegoats within the team who you can't do anything right. You're the person that gets blamed for anything. Even if you weren't on shift, you get blamed for it. It may be that you had nothing to do with something, or someone asked you to do something, but the book stops with you, and it's always you that gets the blame. And these are kind of the signs of how to spot them. Or if you might just be in the team and notice that someone's treating people in those two ways. So what can you do about it? Well, essentially, don't get drawn into it. Recognise them for what they are and keep as much distance as possible. I know that that's hard in a work environment, equally as it's hard in a relationship, but as soon as you recognise it, learn what you need to know about them and protect yourself, because a narcissist has no problem throwing anyone under the bus. Even if you think you're the golden person, they will have no trouble with throwing you under the bus if it suits their purpose. If they can blame it on you rather than them, they'll do that. So be aware and make sure that you are protecting yourself. If you're experiencing this, if you can change teams, do that. If not, know that you've done nothing wrong. It isn't anything personal. If you've got trusted people above you, speak to them. But like I say, where possible, I would move positions so that you don't have anything to do with these people. But it's only a matter of time before they take everyone else down. They might be really good at what they do, but sooner or later their behaviour will get them in trouble. And if you've watched and you'd allowed this to happen, you may go down with them. So protect yourself. I hope that you found that useful. Like I said, this came about from a personal experience, and I figured if I've experienced this, I'm not going to be the only one. And since sort of voicing that to people, I know that they've had their own experiences as well. And it's not massively talked about because we tend to focus on the romantic and the interpersonal relationships, but actually professional narcissists do pop up quite a lot. And like I say, you're not necessarily looking for them in those arenas, because if you go to the medical profession, you trust them because you believe that they know best, and they believe that you've got you or your loved one's best wishes at heart. If you go into like the caring profession, you're going to see a psychologist or a counsellor or someone, again, you're going to think that they're professionals, they're regulated, and therefore they're going to have your best interests at heart. Church, again, you think that they're godly people, there's no way that they'd hurt anyone. So it's worth being aware that not everyone, as we know, is who they present themselves to be, and the professional narcissist is no different. I hope you found that useful. I'd love to know any experiences that you've had. Please do drop me a comment below if you're willing to share anything. If not, quick thumbs up would be great. While you're here, please do click the subscribe button. It massively helps the channel to get seen by more people and raise more awareness to help protect more victims. Have a great weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.